The Cavs are so back, baby. Last night, the Cavs faced the Knicks at home in an Eastern Conference showdown, and the Cavs just went belt to ass on them. It was a hell of a game. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe, leave a comment down below. It's clear to me, Noah, that the Cavs are the team in the East right now, the team to beat. They didn't look very good the other night against OKC, but against the Knicks, these were two teams, by the way, the last 15 games, they were both 12-3, number one defense versus the number one offense, and the Cavs were able to go down the court and score at will.
Yeah, the Cavs took care of business here, man. We were a little critical, not too critical. You were more critical than I after the OKC game. And they came back. They handled business. They took care of a team that has been a thorn in their side before. There was some good, there was some bad, there was some ugly, but we'll focus on the good first because the Cleveland Cavaliers won this game by 20 points. So at the end of the day, how can you focus on anything but the good? I mean, we should because there's plenty of growth that needs to happen if we want to make a real run. But
Evan Mobley
James Harden.
cough.
Yeah, we'll get into him because I'm gonna lay into him a little bit, and you
Fair.
know how much I love me some Evan Mobley. Donovan Mitchell was clean in this game. Jalen Tyson was clean in this game. I was gonna sit down after the first quarter and come in here and talk about Dean Wade in a type of way that wouldn't have been super polite. I don't get why he was starting X Y Z. He hits a buzzer beater at the end of the first quarter. He was hot from three. It was a really entertaining game as a Cavs fan because it was a 20-point beatdown in the third and fourth quarter. But I was entertained because I was watching the team actually play good basketball. There were some missed shots. It
Yeah.
was a little sloppy. You know what I mean? But through and through, all in all, I feel really good about this game. I feel really good about doing what we did to New York, and we were both teams full strength. You know what I mean?
Do you think that Donovan Mitchell, being a New Yorker, loves beating the Knicks?
Oh, of course, wouldn't you? If it was
I
the other way around, like if and even though we're Cavs fans and we sit down and talk about the Cavs on our show pretty often, wouldn't you be the same way going against the Cavs?
Only if they spurned me, didn't pick me kinda thing. Like, it
Fair
wouldn't
enough.
make me play any harder. I think it'd be cool being at home sort of thing, which obviously he wasn't at home. This was in Cleveland. He's at home now, I should say. Yeah, I loved everything I saw. At one point, I was texting you during the game saying, "Look at this defense." Like, defensively, we looked incredible. The stats didn't really borne that out for an entirety of the game. Like, we didn't have any more boards, like, the numbers weren't super lopsided, but we did control all phases of this game. Like, I never felt like we were in doubt here. Whereas some other games, like, we get to the third quarter, even when we build our lead, it feels like it's tenuous at best. I didn't feel that way tonight.
No, I didn't feel that way either. You know what this game really reminded me of, front to back for both teams? It felt like a first game in a playoff series type of game where it's a little sloppy on both ends. One team is sloppier than the other team pulls out and wins. That's what it was giving me from front to back. I mean, we were missing shots to start the first quarter. They were missing shots. Then we kind of got hot and they still were trying to put it together. It felt very first game of a playoff series to me. And hey, if this is the first game of a playoff series for us against the Knicks and we're at home, I'll take it every day and twice on Saturday. You know what I mean?
I do. I gotta just say, so far, the trade for James Harden is one of the best moves the Cavs have made in recent years. Outside of Donovan Mitchell, this is working out wondrously so far, and I don't know how. I can't read the tea leaves of the future. Maybe it's a third pairing with a LeBron coming in next year that even puts this like way over the top because I do think the West still has the advantage here if we're talking finals. But I gotta say, how we're integrating Harden, how he's integrating himself, everything we've seen from Harden over the years led me to believe that he was this prima donna diva. We've seen it in different stops that he's had. He's forces his way out of organizations. And yet, and I know it's early, it's still the honeymoon phase, but he seems to be a guy that will take any role to help us win. If he needs to be the assist man, he's that. If he needs to score for us, he can be that. Like, he doesn't seem to be the ball hog James Harden that I think of him. At least I did think of him as.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That is a common theme with James Harden when he gets to new places. So I'm hoping it isn't just honeymoon phase. We love him. He wants to gel. He wants to make things work. And then he's going to start going down his diva ways and force a trade or do all of the stuff that he's known to do. I hope it sticks and continues to look as it does because you're right. It's been a great move. It looks like it's the perfect fit in terms of finally getting a bigger bodied guard in here to take care of business for the Cleveland Cavaliers at point guard or shooting guard, depending, because you could really just swap him and Donovan Mitchell and those two guard spots however you want. I want to give credit to another guy that is feasting off of the James Harden acquisition, and that is Jarrett Allen,
Jarrett
man.
Allen, yeah.
My opinion of Jarrett Allen from the beginning of the season to now has just completely flipped with his ability to run the pick and roll with James Harden, his ability to be dominant. I mean, we played some of the highlights a second ago, the dunks that he was throwing down. I mean, it was absolutely wild. And then you look at him, and yes, I'm going to start going a little negative now. You look at him and you compare him to the guy that is supposed to be our unicorn and is supposed to be the savior of Cleveland Cavaliers basketball and Evan Mobley, and he can't even set a screen as well as Jarrett Allen right now. And maybe it's him coming back from this injury, and maybe it's just taking more time to gel with him because he's younger and he hasn't played with different types of players or whatnot. But to me, man, I feel like I got a hot take that Jarrett Allen might be a little more hard right now than Evan Mobley, and I will pause on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a hot take. Jared Allen is looking good right now. But yeah, Evan Mobley, I mean, he had 12 points. He went 4 for 7. He did hit that three early, which was fun. 3 for 6 from the stripe, 7 rebounds. That's the stat line that is interesting to me. And he had one assist. He does look like a man who is regressing, and I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that it's the injury, he's slow to come back, um, but it feels like he doesn't fit into this current offense very well, which is crazy because I thought the opposite would be true. I thought a trio of him, Donovan, and Harden would be unbelievable, and yet the 3rd guy right now, as you rightly mentioned, is Jarrett Allen. And that's not to take away, I'm not talking about Wade, and I'm not talking about, Merrill or Schroeder, like, I love those guys too. Tyson, certainly is playing lights out right now. But in terms of, like, a big 3, Evan Mobley is a guy that needs to be unlocked. From what we saw against OKC the other night, this is not a team that is a finals winning team right now. From what I saw last night, though, against the Knicks, they're closer than I thought. The key is Evan Mobley. If he can get unlocked and play better, they have a real shot. But if he doesn't, I think they're a maybe get to the finals at best. I don't see them winning. Anything can happen in a 7-game series, but Mobley, he's got to be the guy, and yet I'm not seeing it. And part of me wonders if it's because when we flow the offense through him, that's when he really excels, and we're not doing as much of that right now.
Yeah, he seems like he's lost in the sauce a little bit. Like he doesn't have a defined role. And maybe that has to do with us just moving in a direction of we're trying to win now. Screw the idea of unlocking Evan Mobley and making him the face of the franchise. We need to win with Donovan Mitchell and whoever we can surround Donovan Mitchell with now because we have the ability to. I don't know if I agree 100% that he needs to be the key for us to go out there and win. I think if we can get quality
Win a
guard
finals.
play, yeah, I think if we could get quality guard play from both Harden and Mitchell, and you have these players play around them and fit their roles perfectly, like we've seen in spurts, we haven't seen it be perfect. I think about James Harden doing a couple behind the back passes and people just not being there because they're not on the same page yet. If people can fit their roles around Harden and Mitchell, I think all bets are off. I mean, you saw a guy like Tyrese Halliburton with less talent than OKC go out there and take them to 7. Anything's possible.
Because
You said it
no
yourself.
no, I think you're forgetting a key factor here, and that we've gotten bullied the last several years in the playoffs. We don't play strong. We don't play physical, and when teams play that way against us, we fold quickly. That's why we need to unlock Mobley because he's a big body presence. He had 2 freaking rebounds against OKC. Like, that's insane. That is
I
absolutely insane, and we don't crash the boards at all as a team, which is very frustrating. But my point is, I get it. We have a bigger bodied guard now in Harden. That's great, but we're still not at the physicality that we need to make a real playoff push.
Yeah, well, I think that's also at the same time a tall task and a tall ask at this point. there's a point in time when you get through and you've seen a guy play for years upon years, and we've seen Evan Mobley, and I know he's still young, and we've seen Jarrett Allen, and he's still relatively young too. Sometimes you are what you are in terms of the aggressiveness, in terms of the hardness versus softness, whatever debate
Gotta
you want
find
to
that
call it.
dog in you. Come on, man.
I agree, but sometimes you just are who you are. You don't
You're a
think that?
professional freaking athlete.
That's great, Eric, but you haven't played with someone before and they just don't have it in them in any type of sport, your high school, your middle school, your elementary.
100%. You know what I haven't played? Professional basketball. Like, it's time to stop making excuses for these guys.
I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying maybe they are who they are, and asking more of them is just unrealistic as people who talk about sports at this point, man.
That's a crazy take. It's time to dig deep.
I hope we can, and I hope they can, but I just haven't seen it, so I have no reason to believe that they have it in them. You know, someone who I do think has it in them, though, and I loved watching him be a menace all night coming off the bench, is one Dennis Schroeder throwing elbows, getting in people's faces. That was awesome to see. I love having a guy like that on this roster because we desperately needed it since like Lamar Stevens or whatever his name is that's in the G League now, the junkyard dog back with the Bickerstaff days.
I've always liked Schroeder, even, his time in Atlanta when him and I think Kyle Korver was there at the time, like, that's how far back we're going, but I've always thought he's a fantastic, guard, and I always wanted that kind of personality on our team. I agree with you, I love to see the fire. Ellis is another one, like, I really love this team top to bottom. Talk about, though, for a second, because, we talked briefly, but Dean Wade, you thought it was odd that he was getting the nod here tonight, and yet he put on a little bit of a clinic.
He put on a little bit of a show, and he's been the starter the last couple of games now, with all of the everybody except Max Strus, of course, being healthy. Yeah, he filled his role perfectly. He stood in the corner. He took the threes when we needed him to. He played some good defense. I mean, he had the highest plus minus on the team at 22 for the whole game. I
Mhm.
can't be mad at him, but it's the same thing when you talk about Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, any of these names that have been here for years and not showing up in the playoffs. He is a key proponent of not showing up in the playoffs. So this can be all fine and dandy right now, but do you have that dog in you? Do you have that hitting the buzzer beater three off the pick and roll with James Harden in the middle of a game four where you're already down 3-1? Is that in there? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Are you the same guy that you've always been? Are you just a little soft? Is that just how it is? I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know.
I think in all professional sports, including basketball, it's about getting healthy and streaking at the right time. And I think that's
True.
exactly what we see happening with the Cavaliers right now. Like, if you're a basketball fan and a Cavs fan, you should be beyond excited right now. Like, barring some freak injury, this is a team that should be entering playoff time pretty healthy and pretty solid as a core right now. And they're only going to get more and more experience together. Obviously, we're fitting Harden in, and Coach Atkinson's still playing around with lineups and that sort of thing. But I think Cavs should be more excited at this point in the season this year than they were last year, knowing, look at what we did last year. Like, that's not to take
Right.
away from the regular season. This team has more dog in them as it stands right now.
And you just mentioned them playing around with lineups, and I'd be remiss not to say the fact that we had Dean Wade running the five at one point during the first quarter, that was crazy to me. It was the smallest of small ball. We had Donovan Mitchell, it was Sam Merrill. I can't even remember who was all on the court now, but it was I think Dennis Schroeder and maybe Keon Ellis. I think it was all guards and Dean Wade were on the court at one point. That is the definition of trying to mess around with lineups during the regular season for your playoff run, if I've ever seen it. Because Wade running the five? What? What?
Yeah, I think the Cavs have been pretty clear, and Atkinson's been pretty clear, though, that they're gonna mess around more in the regular season this year, and we've seen a
Yeah,
lot of that. I think last year was great. We were on fire. We were setting records, for
taking
wins.
home awards. Yep, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we see where it ended up, and I think they used that experience to really dictate what they were gonna do this year in a positive way, and we haven't seen whether or not that's gonna pay off. Ohio State tried to do the same thing. I know different sport, etcetera, but it didn't really work out for them. playing slow, etc. But I think what you see from the Cavs is a team that is laser focused come playoff time. And like we talked about, that move to bring in James Harden, it's a win now culture. And it's been a win now culture at the Cavs for a very long time. Obviously, they got that ring in 2016, but it's here and we're as close as ever. I'm not saying that we can beat OKC at their full strength right now, but I'm not saying that either. There's a long way to go and there's a long way for us to mesh, and I do think that the West has the advantage here. But I think it's clear that we're the top favorites for the East right now, and I'll include the Pistons in that. I don't believe in them. They're a good team, they're a well-coached team, but I don't know. I think the Cavs are the top right now.
Well, you make me a little nervous too because you think about Boston. There's a lot of rumors about Jason Tatum making it back. They are still the 2 seed in the East right now, and we haven't matched up well with them. I do think we're up there. I do think we have looked really good. You are coming around to what my sentiment was, despite the loss to OKC on Sunday, because this is exactly where I'm at too. It's continuing to work towards that main goal of the playoffs and playoff success, right? I think about Max Struess in that situation a lot with Kenny Atkinson as well. They basically are like, yeah, he needs like 10 games maybe to ramp it up and be ready for the playoffs, but we're not worried about rushing him on the court for any type of reason right now because we need Max Struess's dog energy on the court come playoff time. That's the focus this year. And I know we've had our ups and our downs with the it doesn't matter until the playoffs are here because that's been the mindset with the players and the fans, and I would assume everyone, anyone involved with the Cleveland Cavaliers have that mindset, and I think that's fair given what happened last year. Let's hope it doesn't bite us in the ass in terms of seeding, in terms of reining it in until playoff time, all of the stuff. Using Ohio State as an example, like you did, because it felt like they did that all regular season and then got bounced in the playoffs. So time will tell. We'll see.
Which, by the way, you talk about Boston being in the 2 seed. It's extremely close in the East, though.
Oh, 100%.
Pistons are
Yeah.
42 and 14. Boston's 37 and 19 at the time of recording. They're winning right now, so 38 and 19, call it. The Knicks 37-22, the Cavs 37-22, and then the Raptors 34-24. I mean, it is a tight race in the East, but I expect Cleveland to do some catching up in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I do it as well. Our strength of schedule after like the next couple games continues to go down and down. I know we play Detroit twice, we play Milwaukee, and I think we have one more, maybe like a Boston or something like that in
The
there. But
Golden
other than
State
that,
Lakers, yeah.
okay, I'm not as worried about them. I think we're a better team than most
Yeah,
of
but
those
it's
teams.
any given Sunday, but NBA version.
True, 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 true. To me, it is a razor thin line. Vegas says the same thing. We're talking like plus 200, plus 300 odds for all of those teams you mentioned to win the East in terms of most of the major books. So it is close. It is continuing to be a fun second half of the NBA season for us here in Cleveland. It's also combine time, and there was a Cavs player today that failed his combine testing. I don't know if you saw or you heard the broadcast, Eric, but Keon Ellis is not a wide receiver one. The two drop deep ball passes, and then he tried to play a little corner too, and then he threw the ball out of bounds. It was not a good football look for Keon Ellis today. I say in jest, of course.
Yeah, it was not. That's funny. Speaking of our schedule, by the way, we have Milwaukee tonight, but then we play at Detroit, at Brooklyn, and then home versus Detroit, then home versus Boston, then home versus Philly. That is quite the lineup of basically who's leading the East right now. So that'll be an interesting little stretch. And then, as you say, it eases up a little bit down the stretch. But those next couple of games this week and next week are going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun indeed, and I can't wait. Eric, I know you had something you wanted to come in hot about for this show that has, I mean, it has to do with the Cavs, but it doesn't have to do with the product. Well, it does have to do with the product on the court. Just take it away, man. Damn it.
One of the first things I said to you tonight was, "What is with this court and what are with these jerseys?" It took me out of my Twitter hibernation. I had to tweet about it as well because this is an abomination and maybe the worst that the Cavs have rolled out for city editions. I don't know that orange and blue, the second year of it with like the lightning kind of
Mm-mm.
pattern, that was terrible too. Um, but these ones are really bad, and I think somebody should be doing some sort of testing for what it looks like on TV before they roll these out, especially the courts.
Well, I don't know if you realize, but they did this jersey before, and it was in like a Carolina blue and like a tan, and I forget what part of like the metro parks it was tied to or whatever. But this is like their second rehash. A lot of teams did a rehash of like their most popular designs in different colors. I don't like the orange. I don't like the court that much. I've been on record. It's still super popular this year. Like it sells out a lot in the arena every time I'm in there. Not sells out, but you can tell it's sold like a good amount of merchandise. I know a lot of my friends, coworkers, and stuff like it too. But I'm with you 100% on it. I was not a fan of this. I will lean all the way into the classic editions and pick up some regular Cavs merch this year because normally I go all in on the city editions. It just was not doing it for me this year, and it's still not doing it for me this year.
Yeah, and I'm all about the, partnerships too, but you couldn't have come up with something better here. Um, just not a fan. I mean, I think I tweeted this, but it looks like it's your gran that baked too much in the Florida sun. Like, I was an eyesore all night, and I don't know. These city editions, they gotta do better.
Let's take it back to hoops real quick before we get out of here. I wanted to ask you about this. It's the only note I don't have that we haven't hit on yet, and that's Jose Alvarado's jump ball against Dean Wade. Did you see that?
I did, yeah, where he thought he would just break the rules and, break for the ball instead of actually jumping.
I like the effort. I mean, I can't even be mad at the effort, but
You gotta know
that's
the
just not
rules,
how a
though.
jump ball works. Yeah, exactly. Hey,
Yeah,
hey, he is a pest. I don't know what else. He's like
yeah.
Dennis Schroeder. He likes to be a little feisty on the court too. So I don't blame him. It fits his character 100%. But come on, buddy. You're in the big leagues. Let's know that you have to jump for the jump ball.
I thought it was funny. It was one of I mean, he's not winning a jump ball. It was against Evan Mobley.
That
Um
Dean Wade, who's
oh,
also
Dean
just
Wade.
as tall. Yeah,
But yeah, he wasn't winning that jump ball. That's right, Mobley actually got it, but he
yeah.
wasn't winning that anyway. But yeah, that's funny that you bring that up. I was laughing at that one.
That was probably my favorite non-Cavs moment of the game, just because of how hilarious and honestly, still props for the effort at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
What
Anyway,
was your favorite
Cavs.
moment?
My favorite moment? Oh, the
Yeah.
Jarrett Allen back-to-back dunks, dude. I put that in our highlight package this time because he was doing a little air Froden, man. A little air Froden to get that first one in. It was a pretty one. What was yours, man?
Mine would be the Schroeder dish to Mitchell in that dunk. That was
That
just
dunk
sick
was
all around.
I put that one in our highlight reel as well for this game. The Cavs are looking up. Basketball's looking up in the land. It's the only sport we got right now that is live, current, and going on. So make sure you're continuing to check out the Cavs and everything. Because honestly, with the beard, with all the emotions, everything going on right now, this is a really fun team to follow. And that wasn't the case at the beginning of the season. So if you're having a little sports downtime blues, it's time to check out the Wine and Gold because it's a good time over here in Cleveland.
On that note, the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.